stunning looks than swift.
A storm by the name of Siraj in the Asia Cup final, an exhibition of swing and shape that has Sri Lanka stunned in 15 overs of what can only be described as a nightmare, as the hosts and the defending champions are skittled for just 50. Yes, Sri Lanka are 50 all out. It was against all odds, this script. We thought this was going to be a close contest, a tight game like we saw between these two teams in the Super 4 stage, but it is just the Siraj show with supplementary acts by Hardik Pandya and Jasprit Bumrah to ensure India have pretty much 1.5 hands on the Asia Cup. They need 51, and it is a far earlier than expected halftime show on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Matchday, powered by JBL. We'll hear from Farveez Maharoof in just a second in Sri Lanka. He'll need a moment or two to collect his thoughts. Robin, Uthappa and Amol Muzumdar before that. Let me start with you, Robin, to describe what we've just seen from Mohammed Siraj. First words.
Well, just incredible swing bowling. And when the ball seams around, when he swings it, he's just more than 2 handfuls, honestly. I've played him in similar form in first-class cricket, and you just have to kind of give in and say, you know what, just got to hopefully see this guy off, because he gets the ball to swing away in the air and pitches and comes back in, and you can never anticipate what's going to happen from there on in, and he got that to happen every day, every ball that he bowled today. So I feel empathy for the Sri Lankan batters. As far as technique was concerned, there were a few gaps that were there. They were opening up a lot earlier than they should have. They should have held side on positions a little bit longer. But you have to also empathize with the fact that it's not a lot of times in international cricket do you get these kind of swinging and seaming conditions. So they felt completely at bay here.
Yeah, Amol, if you want to extend on that, what about Siraj's ability makes it so hard for a batter to get it right when he is sort of bowling with the momentum and with his tail up the way he was today?
Well, the away swing, as Robin mentioned, but the late swing, that is crucial, I feel. And if you see that he pitched the ball further up to allow it to swing, and as you can see Shanaka's wicket, he tried to play towards onside and he was completely bamboozled with that swing. That was late swing and fast bowling at its very best, I would say. The tone was set by Jasprit Bumrah. With those first 3 deliveries, I felt that made a dent in Sri Lanka's confidence with that wicket of Kushal Perera right up in the first over. That set the tone, and Siraj followed it up. It's very tough to play these kind of deliveries to start up with, but at the end of the day, it's international cricket. You expect these things. You need to cater to the conditions, and only if you cater to the conditions, you will be successful. Yeah,
and I'm sure we'll spend a lot of time discussing where Sri Lanka got this wrong, Farveez, but for the moment, just to admire the skill that Siraj has shown. You are the fast bowler on this panel. Robin talks about how he deceives a batter with the way it comes down versus what it ends up doing. Amol talks about late swing, just knowing that craft better than any of us. What does it take to get it right, and what do you admire most about what Siraj managed to do today?
What I admire most about Siraj is, I remember I did the same with you, Ronak, in our previous stint, that I mentioned about Siraj's wrist position and a seam position. When he started playing IPL, Indian national team, the seam position wasn't that great, it was a bit wobbly. But now, ever since he had got it straight, and what a fantastic exhibition of fast bowling. Jasprit Bumrah from one end, Mohammed Siraj from the other. Yes, there was some movement in the air as well as off the seam. And you expect it with 2 new balls either side with the gloomy conditions. But some of the technique shown by the top order was really disappointing to see. Robin Uthappa, hit the nail in the coffin there. He just said, when it's swinging, when it's seeming best to be side on as much as possible. Dasun Chanaka's dismissal was a perfect example. He was swinging from the middle and leg stump and he was trying to work towards leg side. The basic in cricket, it says, when you're out of form, when the ball is swinging and seam, use the straight punch as much as possible. It's just a total embarrassment to watch as a former player on TV, and it's a heartbreak because look at the crowd at the stadium. Every run was cheered and everything was cheered. So it's just it's just very hard to sum up and put it in words, Ronak, if I'm being really honest with you.
Yeah, I can understand that. Robin, can panic at times spread across a batting unit in a dugout? Couple of early wickets, maybe some of your key form batters, and then it just goes one way from there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's that's definitely a possibility, and it seemed like it did happen there as well in Sri Lankan dugout. You could tell that once they knew that they had to contend with Bumrah and Siraj, and literally they were two down inside 2 overs, and then when you're like that, then you know that your backs are up against the wall, and you really need to hold fort. And when the ball's doing that much, you really can just hope and hope to kind of survive that session. But you can do that if you have a lot of conviction in your own batting, and it's a lot of what Kusal Mendes did in the first, say, 10 overs. He left the ball a lot, made sure he was trying to lead the ball as much as possible, play the ball only within the line of the stumps, hold good side on positions, and just see that period off. You need to do that, and then trying to make up for it afterwards. If you had wickets in hand. But unfortunately, too many wickets fell too soon. A lot of batters, most of the batters opening up too soon, not holding their side on positions long enough to play the ball late. And then that's where they fell wanting. And it's something that when a bowler's in such kind of form, you just got to put your hands up and say, well bowled.
Just adding on to what Robin is saying, that when you're playing, these swinging deliveries, you need to play it closer to your body, as close as possible. And when they were 8 for 2, rather than going and throwing your hands at every given opportunity, if you see the 3 dismissals in the middle order, they were, rank, bad shots.
Yeah.
So I guess closer to the body is more preferable. You need to get the impact points of the bat on the ball a little close to the body, and that's how you survive the swinging conditions. Otherwise, you will end up having 8 for 2, and then you'll end up getting all out for 50.
Were these conditions unplayable, or did they even take the home team by surprise with how much movement there was, Farveez?
I don't think it's unplayable. It was a dry pitch. We saw that in the pitch report. It was a dry. But just that, I think just before the start, the rain would have juiced a little bit up. But still, I thought it was more than seam, it was swing, and all the top order batsmen, fell for pace as well as swing, and the ability what the two bowlers had was especially so nice to see. I mean, being a fast bowler, I didn't want to miss any single delivery bowled by those two champion bowlers. So I reckon completely bamboozled top order, and I'm pretty sure some of the top order wouldn't have thought these two Indian bowlers would get that much of swing, but credit should go to where it belongs. That's definitely Siraj and Bumrah.
I'd like to spend some time with each of you on perhaps picking one wicket of Siraj that stood out for you, where you were just either doffing your hat to him or saying that is some serious skill. Robin, pick a batter where you sort of saw the replay and said, man, that's probably nothing much you can do there.
Kusal Mendes for me. And in the 11th over, 12th over, he got the ball to move away and then pitched, and it came back in like a little bit of an off cutter. For that to happen at that point in the game, we know now that the Kookaburra balls, especially when you have 2 new balls, it doesn't swing after 5 overs. You got to see off the first 10 overs in a one-day game, and then the ball really stops swinging quite a bit. He was able to do that, and to do that in that position against the best batter for Sri Lanka. For me, that one was like, man, that is a top-class delivery. Hats off to you.
Farveez?
Yeah, certainly. I think Kusal Mendes' wicket. I mean, you can understand with the first 5 overs, as Robbie said, you expect that with 2 new balls. But that delivery to Kusal Mendes, who was settled, who was batting decently well, to get rid of him, and it seemed a lot. Yes, Kusal tried to play on the up. The ball wasn't there to be driven down the ground. But as I said, the credit should go to Siraj.
Are you going to go with Kusal again, or give me something else for variety?
I will give. I believe in variety.
Good man.
So I'll go with Darshan and Shanaka.
Yeah, there's set up there as well, isn't it?
Yeah. He bowled a little away swingers, 3 or 4 away swingers right outside off stump. He went for it, He threw his hands at it, didn't play the moving ball really well, and then Siraj set him up rightly outside off stump, and then pitched the ball on the middle stump and took it away from and Shanaka, who tried to play towards onside. It was a bad shot, but it was well set up by Mohammed Siraj.
Yes, Robbie.
Well, if you actually look at that dismissal of Kusal Mendis from behind the stumps, from in front of the stumps, from the bowlers, behind the bowlers arm, when you saw it, it felt like it didn't do too much. It felt like Mendis played not a great shot. But when you look at it from KL Rahul's angle, you'll see from a wicketkeeper's angle that it moved kind of that much. And that's a lot of seam movement for a fast bowler. Now, having said that, I agree with what Amol Bhai was just saying about Shanaka. I think one of the errors that the batters made today from Sri Lanka was that all of them kind of set themselves up to play the ball towards the bowler and towards mid-off. But when the ball's swinging that much and it's doing that much, you want to try and play more towards wide of mid-off and more towards extra cover. So you kind of set yourself up in such a way where you're trying to play more towards that side. So in trying to do so, you'll hold your side-on positions longer, which is something that they didn't do today. You could see Patu Nisanka's dismissal, the top order in general, even Asalanka for that matter. Ball right up, he could have actually just waited a little bit longer, played it more towards in front of point, but played straight to extra covers there. So I think those are the things that were a miss for Sri Lanka today.
Well, it's just the worst possible innings you could have hoped for. Farveez, can you really reflect a lot on an innings like this? Sri Lanka have been a good team. They batted well by and large in this tournament with the odd exception. Can you just say you just saved your worst hour for the day of the final, or is this in any way given you graver concern going into the World Cup? How can my top order collapse to such a degree with nobody showing any kind of resilience even to take us to 120, 130, 150 something? Is there reason to be concerned about Sri Lanka's batting?
I think lack of fight in the middle order definitely concerns me. I mean, when you lose 4 wickets, probably 3, 5, you expect the later order to really dig in deep and try and bat through the overs and put up a show for the crowd. I mean, it's just very hard to say, Ronak. I think yes, bowling was fantastic, it was top class, but some of the batsmen was exposed for some pure technique being shown for top quality fast bowling. And the main threat would be playing the World Cup, playing under lights at some of the stadiums what these guys going to play. And what if there is movement such as like this? And you got fast bowlers from all over the world. That all the teams has good bowlers in their teams, and they'll be exposed some more. So I think Sri Lanka got to make sure this mistake will never return, and prepare themselves to face this kind of situation. Because not even my dream I thought of this much of swing and seam during the break, because usually at R. Premdas Stadium, batting first, usually swings and seams about 5-6 overs, and that's about it. But today it seemed a lot. So it's an eye opener for the batters to get their technique sorted. It's very hard to put in words how to say it, but it's very important that Sri Lanka learn a lesson from this going forward and making sure this will never repeat again.
Just giving a small little bit of credit to where it deserves actually. The Indian team and the NCA, the link over there is fantastic. If you see Jasprit Bumrah's comeback, he's been a little different bowler. He's taking the ball away from the right-handers as well at will. At times we had seen the ball coming back in. We identified Jasprit Bumrah as to getting the ball to nip back into the right-handers, but here he's taking the ball away as well at will. So the work that has been put into NCA and the link is very, there's not much of a gap between NCA, the work that NCA does over there, and the Indian team. Troy Cooley in NCA and Paras Mamre of Indian team bowling lineup. So I guess the credit needs to go to the bowling coaches and the work that has been put behind them. Fantastic to see it paying off at a correct time.
Sound like a man who's soon to be ready to work with the establishment as well. With the NCA and whatnot.
I'll keep my doors shut.
Yes, of course. Good man, Amol Muzumdar, but always good to point these things out. You know, devils like me, we keep saying what are they doing at the NCA with these guys falling injured and whatnot. But credit where it's due. Siraj Farveez makes a good point too. He seemed to have lost his way in the IPL a few years ago. He's come back, and there's a reason now. Robbie, as I know that there was plenty of talk going into the Asia Cup when India have their full strength quota of seamers. Is it Shami or Siraj along with Bumrah? What's the pecking order? And there is a reason why the team management and those that have followed the growth of Siraj over the last 2 years see why this is India's number 2 seamer, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I think for me the pecking order would be Bumrah and then Siraj and then Shami. Simply because I think it's what they're going with right now, the team management. They're using Shami as a priced commodity, and I think that's a wonderful thing. So that actually helps him extend his career for quite a bit as well. So I think it's great foresight from the Indian team management and the BCCI to be able to play him in selective games, and the fact that he gets so much of a break, and then they use him for test matches, but in one day and T20 cricket, they use him wherever experience is required. And I think that's a great, and for him to come through and actually accept that role, I think is fantastic. So that allows someone like Siraj to kind of get into that mold of being the spearhead as well, just in case someone else is injured. And I think he's really got his one-day bowling sorted, Siraj. He was always a dangerous one-day bowler as far as I'm concerned. In T20 cricket, he uses his variations quite a bit. He doesn't trust his top delivery as much, and also the wickets aren't conducive as they are with, say, with 2 new balls in a one-day game. So he's able to exploit his skills a lot more. So for me, I like this pecking order. I like when it's Bumrah and then Siraj, and then you have Shami, and then you also have
Shardul.
Shardul
as well. Prasid as well.
Yeah.
We have quite a few, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, when you have days like this, it looks like you're set for the World Cup. It's only a matter of time before you win it. Yes, Amol.
This 11 looks absolute perfect. I mean, we spoke in the pre-show that this looks like a very formidable Indian lineup. Just by the look of it, the variation that you have in the bowling lineup and the batting firepower that you have top of the order and in the middle order as well. So this looks like a fantastic India 11.
How easy is international cricket for Washington Sundar upon his comeback? 14, 15 overs in the field, don't worry about it, can't do anything wrong, probably won't get a bat now. So anyway, but it's all because Siraj just set this game up and put India effectively as Asia Cup champions at half-time. A 6 for the fourth best figures for an Indian in ODI cricket. There was a time where you thought he could easily get 7 and claim that record to his own, the one that now is, that is still held by Stuart Binney from 2014 in Mirpur. But as we look at a feat that he achieved when he picked up 4 in an over, he puts himself in the company of Mohammed Sami of Pakistan, the great Chaminda Vas. I think that there was a game in the World Cup in 2003. Vas, of course, still holds the record for the best figures ever in ODI cricket, the only 8 for recorded in the game. And Adil Rashid is there as well from 2019. So that's a unique feat. And as I talk about one of the, I'd say, the lighter moments that we saw was when he was on a hat trick and the ball was clipped down through mid-on, and Siraj had to run for it himself, caused a serious chuckle with the rest of the team. We thought he's huffed and puffed and he might not even go through with that last ball, and he gets another wicket. Have you ever seen something like that? All three of you. Amol, you first. Yeah.
I've seen it before, but this was very funny. I mean, he was all pumped up for his hat-trick ball. He came in, he bowled in his follow-through. He had to turn back and go towards long on, run all the way, and then see the ball roll to the boundary. That was great to see, but just the adrenaline pumped up Siraj at that time, and you could make out that there is some force behind Mohammed Siraj when he's on song. No better sight. Yeah, come on, Farveez. Count down to all the times that you've done that. I know you have, where you've run back on your follow-through to long on to try and save a boundary. But Amol makes a point of adrenaline. You could see it in that moment, right? Siraj was he could have run 3 kilometers there.
Absolutely. I will talk about the personal experience what I had when I was playing for Lancashire in 2011. The Roses clash against Yorkshire. I was on a hat trick. I think I would have 4 slips and 2 gullies or something like that. Ball passes to mid-off. I had to do that, and I took about 5 minutes to get my breath back. That's how far it was. But with Mohammed Siraj, Amol just correctly said it. Adrenaline is so high. He sprinted across, came back. He's a fantastic kid to watch. I mean, I love watching him. I'm not saying because he's picking up wickets. He's always playing with a smile. And I've read his article about the life story what he had when he was young and where he was found out. And now, he's leading the attack for India. So what a great story.
Yeah, I know. I have a soft spot for fast bowlers in general. It's a batter's game. So I can see the bowler, poor thing, is running to mid-on after getting all the wickets, and the batter standing at slip, Robin Uthappa, just can't stop laughing. That's just how it is, isn't it?
It's the irony of life, isn't it?
I think fast bowlers match fee should be double for many reasons. I keep saying
Listen, I won't argue with that at all. Okay, I put my hand up and say they are the hardest working people in the cricketing fraternity, and they perform the hardest skill in the cricketing fraternity. So I would be more than okay with bowlers getting a lot more than the rest of the fast bowlers getting a lot more than the rest of it.
Got it, Robin. Never golden rule in cricket. Never argue with a fast bowler.
Yeah.
The other part being fast bowler. When we used to play, when you have a top order like Robin Uthappa, Virendra Sehwag, MS Dhoni, Yuvraj Singh, Sachin Tendulkar, Gautam Gambhir, you feel for the fast bowler, Robbie, don't you?
Yeah. Either way.
After the match.
They deserve it. They deserve every penny of it. Could have been 6 for 17 actually, had a batsman not thrown 4 unnecessary runs for Mohammed Siraj. But he ends up with 6 for 21 as it turns out. Anyway, it's all fun and games. And it's all affordable right now when you get the opposition all out for 50. How does that 50 look in terms of the lowest scores between some of the top teams in ODI cricket? It doesn't make for pretty reading. I'm sure the statsmen around the world, statsmen and women, will have a great time of this kind of game. But it is at number 4 in men's ODIs between top 10 ranked teams. So the 38 all out remains the lowest ever score between Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka. There's a 43 that dates back to 2012, and then 50 now in this particular contest. So the 54 is unforgettable in Sharjah back in 2000 when India were at the receiving end. So there you have it. India walked out to what we expect as just an academic run chase, and they made a tweak. Shubman and Ishan are out. No Rohit Sharma. Nothing much to really read into that. Rohit's happy, put his feet up.
Yeah, probably trying to get a coffee or something in the dressing room. But yeah, Ishan Kishan and Shubman Gill, opening the innings, left and right combination. I think just another outing for Ishan Kishan. Hopefully they get this score in a jiffy. Yeah,
Robin, perfectly okay. I mean, it's 50 to get. Go Ishan, have a crack.
Yeah, go and have a crack. As in, after his 80, he's had a little bit of a quiet time. So, throw him up there and ask him to have fun and just get that feel back. And I think this is absolutely fine.
The experiment keeps coming up, isn't it, from the Indian team?
Yeah, it's you cannot. I don't think you can ever. It'll ever stop. I remember a Rajasthan Royals team, if I'm not wrong, in 2014 or 15.
Okay.
That was like this. It just never stopped.
It was much more recent, wasn't it, when Amol was in the dugout? It was like, 2 or 3 years back. Yeah, but you were
2020 as well.
Yeah, Robin.
2020 as well. 2020 as well.
Yeah, all right. That's for another day. Farveez, is there anything you can say to a Sri Lankan team at halftime in a game like this?
I think pick up a couple of wickets if I have the guts to say or hearts to say it. I mean, pick up a couple of wickets and try and put at least some smile to the crowd which has gathered and never left at the stadium.
Yeah, give them something to cheer about. Yeah, and you never know. It seems like we'll be back with you very soon to look back at what's been a game set up by India seamers, in particular Mohammed Siraj. So we leave it there with Robin Uthappa, Farveez Maharoof and Amol Muzumdar in the final of the Asia Cup on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Matchday, powered by JBL. We will see you at the conclusion of the game and the tournament. Download the mobile app if you haven't already.
Stunning looks, then swift.
Make sure you download the ESPN Cricinfo app to stay updated with the very latest from the world of cricket.